Well, the care plan is actually a mnemonic that Evercare developed for the use of our members and their families to prepare for a natural disaster or a weather-related disaster. And it's just one of many resources that Evercare makes available to caregiving families to try to help them prepare for any kind of problems that they may encounter going forward. And unfortunately, we've had a number of weather-related emergencies and natural disasters in recent years, and we've actually become pretty good at honing our preparedness in the event of a disaster. So the care plan is a mnemonic, as I said before, and I'll go through what each of the different parts of that stand for. The C in CARE actually stands for contingency planning. And what we mean by that is we want to remind caregivers that they need to be prepared in the event that they're not able to reach their loved one if there's a weather-related emergency. So we want them to make plans so that maybe there's someone else who can step in and provide that care. So it's a very important reminder for people. The A stands for advanced medication supply. And that one I think is pretty self-explanatory, but oftentimes what we see is when there's an emergency, individuals are not able to get to the pharmacy to access their medications. And if there's a long period of time that goes by, it is possible they might not be able to fill their prescriptions when they're needed. So what we recommend to people is if they could have an advanced supply of medication on hand, that would help to alleviate some of that problem. The R stands for register. And what we mean by that is that we encourage our family caregivers to register their loved ones, especially those who are homebound, for programs that are sponsored by the city or the county governments. And that way, in the event of an emergency, they're accounted for, and there's someone else who's able to come in and provide that care. They won't get lost that way, and someone will know where they are and what services they're requiring. These could be services like shelter or transportation or other things. And then finally, the E in CARE stands for electricity. Now this is a really important one that sometimes gets neglected. We sometimes think about the who in terms of who can provide care to an individual, but we don't always think about what happens if there's a blackout and there's no electricity. How do we make sure that individuals who potentially are homebound and have equipment that requires electricity are getting what they need? So we suggest that our caregivers identify an alternative in terms of power source for that equipment.